Hello and welcome to the Maple Grove City Report. I'm Dave Kaiser from CCX Media. Thanks for joining us, along with Heidi Nelson, Maple Grove City Administrator. Welcome once again.
Thank you.
We have a work session to talk about with three bigger items for the city, and also the meeting that was held on November 15th, about an hour and a half in length. We'll give you a recap, and also a lot going on in town, as you might imagine, as we head into the holidays, and so we'll give you an update on some of those items. First, to the work session ahead of time, and you had told the council there were some big items coming up towards the end of the year. First was a police department update. Tell us a little bit about that discussion, what the council heard.
Yeah, so Chief Werner, Commander Lindquist, Commander Wetternock, Captain Pabuda, and Teresa Keene from our administrative services area in the police department were in to provide an update, just kind of what's going on in the police department, what we're seeing out in the community, update on crime, service in the community. So a lot of good information shared here with the council. There's a good memo out on the website for the work session in the packet if folks are interested to go take a look at that. Of course, everybody's concerned with kind of the rise in violent crime that we're seeing, you know, not only in the core cities, but also out here in the suburbs. We've had a couple of incidents that are bringing folks a lot of concern, and I think our cops are trying to do the best job that they can out there on the streets. We do have some concerns what's happening down at the Hennepin County Attorney's Office with kind of a different approaches to how folks are charged and held, creating a bit of a revolving door down there, and then bringing that crime back to our communities. So wanted to share some of that information with the council and bring them up to speed. And this will probably be kind of a regular update now, maybe a couple times a year, where the police department comes before the council to share more information. That
information, as Heidi mentioned, on the website, maplegrovemn.gov. We'll give you that throughout the program. Next item at the work session was a community center renovation and expansion plan, and also communications around that.
Yeah.
How is that moving along?
Yeah, so we've been doing a lot of work on preparing a communications plan in advance of what will be a vote in November of 2022 with regard to kind of the largest funding source for the project, the local option sales tax. And as you recall, we did receive special legislation in the last special session last summer that would allow us to go forward and ask that question of the public. So we're going to get going in January on kind of a public information education effort to get information out to the community, not only about the project, but also about kind of how that local option sales tax would work and what it would mean to residents. But we did have an opportunity to kind of share some information with the council about where we're at with the project. Project costs right now are sitting at around 116 to 120 million. That includes assuming that we acquire the lifetime space, renovation of that space, reconstruction of the good portion of the middle of the building, creating new banquet space, an additional third sheet of ice, some space for the arts, expanded senior spaces, renovated pools, all those kinds of things. So really quite a significant project.
Sure.
We're going to be launching a website here pretty soon, Growing Together Maple Grove, that'll have a lot of information about the project in total. So stay tuned for all of that, but it was a good opportunity to share these updates with the council. All that information is available on the website under that work session packet, so encourage people to go out and take a read of that.
Very good, and a couple items related to that within the council agenda. We'll get to those in just a minute. Third item was Weaver Lake Road and Main Street, talking a little bit about some of those parcels, and this is one of those items related to what you were just talking about. Tell us where this property is and what some of the thoughts were.
Yeah, so the city owns the kind of the two parcels along Main Street out in front of Lifetime Fitness, as well as the parcel kind of kitty corner to the north and east off of Norwood. So we've been doing some kind of land use planning there and design about what development of those corners might look like. Likely residential and maybe some mixed uses on the first floor of one of the buildings. Maybe a combination of some senior affordable and then market rate. And potentially some other senior across the street. So got some feedback from the council on that, and it really kind of ties into the overall vision for Main Street there. So as you know, we're working on a Main Street revitalization project for next summer. So this really kind of then brings it all the way up to Weaver and thinks about those public spaces along there. So more to come on that, but we are having some discussions with the development community about those parcels and seeing what the interest might be. So as the community center project comes along, you'll likely see some development on those parcels as well.
We will keep you up to date. Now to the meeting on the 15th, again about an hour and a half in length. One item pulled from consent, and this has to do with the community center as well. A little bit of a formality. Tell us what this was about and why the mayor felt it was important to point out.
Yeah, so just kind of a procedural item. So anytime the legislature authorizes a special law for a city, you have to generally kind of accept that special law, that yes, we'd like that to be in effect. So this was with regard to that local option sales tax piece, and again, referendum required in November of 2022 coming up here on that question. But this would be before the next session starts, which will be the end of January. We needed to confirm to the Secretary of State's office that we are indeed accepting that legislation. So we were able to pass a resolution and then get that certificate approved to move that forward. So information shared about that.
Good. One item in the open forum that was brought up, and this was a resident talking a little bit about city organized solid waste collection, something the city has heard and studied over the years. Give us a little recap of that discussion.
Yeah, so longtime resident came in to ask the question if the city, would be willing to entertain looking into the concept of closed hauling. We do intend to, we're going to be doing a community survey this coming winter, and we'll likely add a question or two about that topic. The topic comes up from time to time, and there are kind of people squarely on either side of the issue in terms of whether they like to have a choice in their garbage hauler or if they prefer to have that coordinated by the city. Generally, we're still contracting with private haulers, but it generally kind of tends to limit the number of, you don't really have a choice anymore. You're going to be with this hauler in this area, or sometimes cities just have one hauler for the whole city. So kind of takes that choice away from residents, but certainly, the concerns are the number of garbage trucks on streets, that kind of thing. So I think there's, pros and cons to it on both sides. So we'll see what the survey shows, and then we'll bring it back to the council for some discussion. Quite a bit of legal process involved with this type of a transition. There's a lot of state statute around this issue, and some of the cities, if you've watched, St. Paul or Bloomington in their process of transitioning to that, can be a little litigious. Got a lot of invested parties here, stakeholders, with about 9 haulers right now in Maple Grove that serve the community. So it's something we would have a lot of work to do around, and so we'll see what the survey says and then probably bring that back in 2022 for some discussion.
Very good. 2 presentations at the meeting on the 15th. The first was from the Hennepin County District Court, and Chief Judge Barnett came and talked a little bit about the work that they do. About a 6-minute presentation. Give us a little bit of the highlights from that overview. Yeah,
so Chief Judge Todrick Barnett came to talk with the council about the work that they do at the Hennepin County District Court, and of course we're served at the Brookdale Court over here in Maple Grove. So he had a flyer that he shared with the council that's also available on our website. Just kind of outlines, the type of legal work, the cases that they see in the district court, and kind of how people can access that. Talked a little bit about how they've been navigating through COVID, and I think they've gained some efficiencies in terms of, some hearings and things being able to be done online, and that helps people being able to access the system a little bit better. So good to get an update there, and that information's available on the website.
Next presentation, a very nice award to the city around the Mobility Hub. Tell us a little bit about the group behind this and what the award was.
Yeah, so this was from the Minnesota Public Transit Association. Maple Grove Transit received the 2018, the 2021 Management Innovation Award, which was presented to Maple Grove Transit. So Michael Patz, our transit administrator, was there to talk about that. It was presented at their conference on October 4th, and this was really about our Mobility Hub project down at our Arbor Lakes Transit Station there, which was really trying to look at all the different kinds of transit that could be served from that facility and make some physical changes to make that more feasible and accommodating to those uses. So great work here on behalf of Mike in kind of taking this time during the pandemic when commuter service is sort of offline, and thinking about, what's transit going to look like next. And we are seeing more, kind of hyper local transit with our My Ride service, ride shares, Ubers, that kind of thing. We added electronic vehicle charging to that transit station down there. So we'll continue to work on those new forms of transit in Maple Grove.
Congratulations to Mike. Under Community and Economic Development, a few items here. The first was tabled. Tell us about Summer Well and the reason for the tabling there.
Yeah, so this is a townhome development up off 105th and 610, and this was requested to be tabled by the developer. So this one will come back maybe at the December 6th meeting. They just wanted a little bit more time to respond to some of the comments at the Planning Commission, as well as the neighbors out there in that area. But this is about 240 units and they'd be rental townhomes. So, and a lot of, a different feel of density out there. I think that whole 105th, 610 area is really starting to get some energy. We're seeing a lot of development proposals being brought to staff for discussion. So I think we're going to start to see a lot more activity out in that area. So this will be part of that transition. So look for that one in December.
Yeah, we'll have it for you when it comes back. A couple other items passed along about the Planning Commission. They will meet on November 29th. And what are the two big items they're talking about?
Yeah, so again, up in that northwest quadrant, again, we're seeing a lot of activity. So the Evanswood Development Stage Plan, this one is even further west on the west side of 94, kind of up south of the Hindu Temple, about a 400 lot subdivision of both single family and townhomes. So this is their development stage plan. So this would have them, you know, getting final approvals and getting ready to get going next spring.
Okay.
And then we have the Maple Grove Innovation Center. This is just a concept stage plan. This is for right off of Holly and 105th. It sits right up against 94. So again, up in this 105th area. I think, you know, the Dayton Parkway interchange getting completed certainly puts a lot more pressure on that real estate up there. And, you know, there's kind of commercial industrial development just to the north. So kind of thinking about that kind of use. So that one will be just concept stage plan for the council to take a look at that.
All right, we'll bring those back as they move forward. Engineering Public Works, just a few items here. The Yardway site, a popular site right now. How long will it stay open?
Yeah, so we're open through November 30th. It's getting a little cold and snowy for yard waste, but I know a lot of folks are, and the leaves were a little late dropping this year in many areas.
Very true.
I think that work will continue here for a little while.
Fernbrook Lane and Territorial, we've talked many times in the past about the roundabout there, and we're nearing completion. How is that coming along?
Yeah, so it's supposed to be open towards the end of this week. So that project moved along really quickly. I was complimenting our engineering staff on getting that one in, but you know, those are tough when you're doing it under traffic and there aren't other good alternatives around there. So yeah, that one will get open to traffic here pretty soon.
Another item that was rather interesting is the sale of the Grove Freeway sign. You may wonder, what is the Grove Freeway sign? As I did, and Heidi had the answers. What is that sign?
Yeah, so as you're headed westbound on 94, kind of past the Maple Grove Parkway, there's a monument sign out there that has Target, Home Depot, the hospital on it. And it was kind of a remnant piece that the city ended up holding back when the Grove was done, you know, back 2007, 2008, and Ken Ashfeld in our engineering department's been working on getting that site cleaned up and getting it into proper ownership. You know, there's power and maintenance and all those kinds of things that go there. So when Ryan Companies came forward with the deal behind the hospital, we worked with them to kind of resolve that issue that kind of been outstanding there and never got resolved. So I think Ken's happy to have this one in the books.
I bet he is. One final item from Engineering and Public Works was reduction in value of recycled products. Now you're seeing maybe a little change in that. Give us a little background. What are we talking about here? How does it impact the city? Yeah,
so over the past few years, we've seen a real reduction in the value of those recycled products that we take in, which is an offsetting cost to our contract for that recycling. And so it's been a little tough in the past few years, and we've had to look at rates and those kinds of things. And there really wasn't a market for some of that product, so a lot of it was just kind of sitting. We're seeing some of those prices come back, and so that'll help us out. And so we're happy to see that, and happy to see, you know, those products being reused as well.
Your items in the update on the 15th meeting was a little bit about the December 6th meeting, a little change in the timing there because a very important event happening before that, the Angel of Hope.
Yeah, it's our annual Angel of Hope event. It's held on December 6th at 7 p.m. up at the Angel of Hope Memorial up off of Fernbrook every year, regardless of the day of the week. And so we will allow time for the council to go attend that. It's usually a pretty brief ceremony, you know, around 7 to 7:30 or so. And then we'll come back to the council chambers for the meeting. So the start of the meeting may be just a bit past 7:30 into 7:45. We do have our budget hearing that evening, which is published for 7:30. So we will have staff on hand to receive any residents that come, you know, with questions, whatnot. But we will get started just as soon as the council's back from that event.
Very good. Final note from the meeting on the 15th was your continued watch of award announcements related to 610 completion. And the watch continues.
Yeah, we continue to see what's happening out in D.C. with those award announcements, and we'll keep people posted as soon as we know.
Very good. All right, that is the meeting from the 15th. The next meeting will come up on the 6th. We'll give you that information towards the end of the program, but let's take a few minutes to talk a little bit about some things happening around town, and one that just recently happened, and this was the Veterans Day event. Great event. Tell us about it.
Yeah, very nice event. We ended up moving it indoors. It was a very blustery, cool morning that day. So the morning of November 11th, Veterans Day, the Beyond the Yellow Ribbon program and the Osseo Maple Grove Legion hosted an event at the Central Park Pavilion there, and Senator Amy Klobuchar was able to join us that morning and kick off her Veterans Day activities in Minnesota. So a lot of state, county, and city elected officials there, as well as members of the public and from the Legion and beyond the Yellow Ribbon. So great event to kick off that day in honor of our veterans.
Congratulations to all those involved. Let's talk about some holidays coming up here, the effect on the city offices and also on transit.
Yeah, so city offices will be closed Thursday and Friday of the Thanksgiving holiday, November 25th and 26th. And then again, no Maple Grove transit service on Thanksgiving Day.
Looking ahead to winter, there are jobs in the city of Maple Grove available. You're looking for some seasonal employees. What's the mix of jobs that they could have?
Yeah, lots of different opportunities for the winter of 2022. We're always looking for lifeguards, instructors for skating, gymnastics, music, birthday party and indoor playground attendants, concessions, customer service, and then of course we need attendants for the warming houses. So if you have a need for kind of some part-time employment, we have a lot of opportunities out there.
All right, website a great place to go, maplegrovemn.gov. I-94, we had talked about this last time we were together about the completion there and some of the events around that. But you have a few statistics here, again, some information about what happened and the improvements that were made. Tell us about those.
Yeah, so you might have seen ribbon cutting coverage in the media. That was on November 5th in the afternoon up on the new Dayton Parkway interchange, which is another nice new entry point and exit point from the freeway. I've used it a few times myself. It's very nice.
Very good.
But we do have some benefits here. There's still, you know, from time to time you're going to see lane restrictions out there. They're just trying to get this work finished up. I think they're going to have to call it here pretty soon.
Right.
But you'll see, you know, a lot of cones and barrels still out on the corridor. But we do have a smoother new roadway surface, improved safety, better commercial access for freight and business. And boy, that addition of that lane up at 610 is really helping out. I just think we're not seeing, you know, the backups that we had been seeing for the last few years. So really nice to have that work done. And we look forward to them, you know, those barrels and cones going away out there. I know they're still working away on those sound walls, kind of along the Rice Lake area at this time. So that work will probably continue here for a bit as well.
Well, thanks again to the residents for all their patience during the project. Organics recycling, something that is new for 2022, starting on January 1st. Give us a little background here of where this came from and again what residents need to know and do.
Yeah, so this is a new Hennepin County requirement. So starting January 1st, all refuse haulers in Maple Grove are required to provide organics recycling. So your haulers should have been in contact with you about that opportunity to add organics recycling to your garbage pickup. And so other options include backyard composting as well as dropping off items for no charge at the Hennepin County drop-off facility in Brooklyn Park. And then compost bins are also for sale there year-round. So lots of information also on the Hennepin County website about that.
All right, let's talk toy drives. The city partnering with Cross this year on a toy drive. What are the details residents should know? Yeah,
so we're looking for new unwrapped toys for children 10 years of age and younger, and they can be dropped off between 8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. at the following facilities through December 7th. So kind of a short timeline here. The Government Center main entrance, Public Safety Facility main entrance, and then the Community Center main entrance. Gift card donations for children 11 to 17 will also be accepted for Cross from 8 to 4:30, but we ask you bring those right to the police department and hand those off to staff.
Good.
So Cross has been addressing hunger, housing instability, and children's needs since 1977. So in addition to serving here in Maple Grove, they serve the surrounding communities of Champlin, Corcoran, Dayton, Osseo, and Rogers as well.
All right, again, that deadline is December 7th, so mark that on your calendar. Also, another reason to remember the 7th, registration starts for Park and Rec activities, and there's a guide out.
Yeah, so our new guide is out with all the winter parks and recreation activities, classes, outings, sports, and more. And the guide will be available on the city's website, and a paper copy does get delivered to every household. And again, registration opens December 7th for all those classes.
Another kind piece of work the city does is help you with your holiday shopping. Here's a few ideas. Number one, the community center and some gift cards. How does this work? Yeah,
so a lot of opportunities to buy gift cards for your family for just daily admission to the community center, concession items, recreation programs, membership, party rental. So those gift cards available at the community center service desk.
Very good. And the indoor farmers market at that same location also has ideas and items for the holidays. When does that occur?
Yeah, we have a couple markets coming up here right before the Thanksgiving holiday, Tuesday, November 23rd, right before Thanksgiving and Hanukkah, I should say. And the hours are from 3 to 6 p.m. that day. And then we also have Couple more days coming up here in December on December 9th and the 21st.
All right, get out there and do some shopping. Last couple items we'll cover have something to do with the ice and skating on the ice. First is the Central Park skate loop. A lot of people excited. Tell us when.
Yeah, so the weather's working with us here. It got
Yes,
very
it is.
chilly this afternoon. So staff, we're working towards a November 26th opening of the skate loop, and we'll keep information updated on the city website as well as our Facebook pages, or Facebook details for when that is going to get open if the weather continues to stay cool. So the skate loop is open. Skating is will be open. And it's free for use. Skate rentals are available, and then we do have concessions there as well. So the other piece of this is the outdoor neighborhood rinks. Again, weather dependent, open around mid-December for the winter break for
All right,
school.
good. And if you want to see Santa before Christmas, kids, here's your chance, and put your skates on while you do it. What happens?
Yeah, so this is an event hosted by the Maple Grove Rotary Club. Santa and his helpers are making a special stop in Maple Grove on Saturday, December 11th from 5 to 8 p.m., joining them for a free evening of skating and holiday music at Central Park. Again, skate rentals are available. And then we do have Maple Grove Rotary has partnered with the Parks Department to decorate the trees over at the skating loop, so you'll get an opportunity to see the lit up trees that evening as well.
All right, the key is bring your camera, get those pictures with Santa. Heidi, thanks again for your time and all of the information from Maple Grove. Let's leave you with some information. We mentioned the website quite a few times during the program, maplegrovemn.gov. All of the information you need about some of the things that were covered in the work session and other opportunities for jobs and other activities happening in the city. Next meeting is Monday, December 6th at 7:30 at the Government Center, and phone number again at the bottom of the screen. For Heidi Nelson, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us on the Maple Grove City Report.